My in-laws uninvited me from Christmas because I was too much drama. Then they called crying when my husband refused to come without me. The email arrived December 10th. Catalina, we've decided it's best if this year's celebration remains immediate family only. I'd been married to Dominic for 3 years. Was I not immediate family? When I showed him, Dom's jaw clenched. What the hell is this? I knew exactly what it was. His mother, Lorraine, had never forgiven me for not being Priya. Priya, the ex-girlfriend who spoke fluent Italian and whose family owned vineyards in Tuscany. I was a public school teacher from Queens. Last Thanksgiving, I'd committed my greatest sin. I corrected Lorraine when she claimed vaccines caused autism. I'm a science teacher. I couldn't just sit there while she spread misinformation. The table went silent. Her face turned crimson. Well, I'm just sharing what I've read. From where? I'd asked. Because every legitimate medical organization disagrees. Since then, every gathering became a minefield. When I announced my pregnancy in October, her first response was, I hope you'll still work. Dominic's father expects grandchildren to be properly raised. The Christmas disinvite was the final move. I told Dom to go without me. I'm not playing her games. He called his mother that night. If Kat's not welcome, I'm not coming. Silence. Dominic, don't be ridiculous. I'm spending Christmas with my wife and our baby. You can join us or not. He hung up. For 2 weeks, nothing. Then Christmas Eve arrived. We were making dinner when his phone rang. His father. Your mother's in the hospital. She collapsed. You need to come now. We drove 2 hours in silence. His dad stood in the waiting room looking 10 years older. They think it's her heart. Lorraine was in ICU, tubes everywhere. When she saw Dom, she started crying. When she saw me, her face hardened. The doctor pulled us aside. She's stable, but she'll need surgery. We found a mass near her heart. My medical knowledge kicked in. What kind of mass? What are the imaging results showing? The doctor looked surprised. Are you medical? Science teacher. Biology degree. He explained the technical details. I asked about treatment options, survival rates, surgical risks. Dom's dad just stared, lost. Lorraine had always handled medical stuff. Over the next week, I became the translator between doctors and family. I researched surgeons, decoded insurance paperwork, organized medication schedules. Dom's dad would call me with questions. Lorraine never said thank you. 3 days before her surgery, she asked to speak to me alone. I found something, she said quietly. In your medical research. Something you missed. My stomach dropped. What? She pulled out her phone with shaking hands. A screenshot from my computer at their house from when I'd researched her condition on their Wi-Fi. My search history. But it wasn't just about her heart condition. There were searches about inheritance law, estate planning. What happens to property when someone dies in state? Searches I'd never made. I didn't save it, she whispered. I know what you're after. I always knew you weren't right for my son. The door opened. Dom walked in. Mom, what's going on? Lorraine pressed the call button. 2 security guards appeared. This woman is not family. I want her removed. And I'm calling my lawyer. Check the security footage from the medication room from last night. My blood turned to ice. Last night, I'd been alone in that room organizing her prescriptions. The night nurse had asked me to help. There were cameras. What had I actually done on those cameras? Or more importantly, what would it look like I'd done? Dom grabbed my arm. Kat didn't do anything. Then she won't mind if we review the footage, Lorraine said, her voice stronger now. With the police present. The security guards moved closer. One put his hand on my shoulder. Ma'am, we need you to come with us. Dominic, call our lawyer, I said. My voice came out steadier than I felt. Don't say anything to anyone until she gets here. They escorted me to a small room near the hospital security office. Through the window, I could see Dom arguing with his mother. His father stood between them, hands raised. A police officer arrived 20 minutes later. Detective Ramirez, according to his badge. He sat across from me with a tablet. Mrs. Castellano, do you know why you're here? My mother-in-law is having some kind of episode. She's confused because of her medication. Is that why you were in the medication room last night? To confuse her further? I was organizing her prescriptions at the nurse's request. Everything I did was documented. He tapped the tablet. Let's watch the footage together. The video was grainy but clear enough. Timestamp, 11:47 p.m. I entered the medication room with the night nurse, Bethany. She pointed to Lorraine's prescriptions, explained which ones needed to be sorted. Then her pager went off. She left. I was alone for exactly 4 minutes and 32 seconds. The camera showed me counting pills, checking labels, using my phone. At one point, I picked up a medication bottle, examined it, then set it down. I repeated this with 3 different bottles. Then I left. Looks pretty innocent, I said. Detective Ramirez zoomed in on my phone. What were you doing on your device? Checking drug interactions. Lorraine is on 12 different medications. I wanted to make sure nothing was contraindicated. Or you were looking up which combination would cause the most damage. My lawyer walked in at that exact moment. Thank God. Miriam Torres was 5 feet tall and terrifying. My client isn't answering any more questions. Do you have evidence of a crime? Or are we done here? Ramirez leaned back. Mrs. Castellano's mother-in-law has accused her of tampering with her medications. We have footage of her alone with those medications. That's enough for an investigation. Footage of her doing exactly what a nurse asked her to do, Miriam said. Unless you have evidence she actually altered any medication, my client is leaving. Not yet. We need to test the medications. Then test them. We'll wait. 4 hours later, the results came back. Every medication was exactly as prescribed. No tampering, no alterations, nothing. Detective Ramirez looked annoyed. You're free to go. Dom was waiting outside with his father. Lorraine had been sedated after becoming hysterical when the police told her the medications were fine. Kat, I'm so sorry, Dom said, pulling me close. His father wouldn't look at me. We should go home, I said. No. Dom's voice was hard. We need to talk about what just happened. We sat in the cafeteria. Dom's father ordered coffee he didn't drink. Dom held my hand so tight it hurt. Dad, Mom just tried to have my pregnant wife arrested. For nothing. She's not thinking clearly. The mass. The stress. This isn't about the mass. She's been like this since the day I brought Kat home. You know it. I know it. Everyone knows it. His father's hand shook around his coffee cup. Your mother has always been protective. Protective? I finally spoke. She accused me of attempted murder. She's scared. She doesn't know how to handle what? That Dominic married someone she didn't choose? That I'm not Priya? Silence. Your mother loved Priya, his father said quietly. When you two broke up, it devastated her. She'd already planned the wedding in her head. I was 23, Dom said. Priya and I dated for 6 months. Mom loved her because Priya let Mom control everything. What she wore, what she ate, what she said. Kat's her own person. That's what Mom can't stand. His father finally looked at me. I know my wife is difficult, but she's sick. Can't you just forgive this? Forgive being accused of attempted murder? Forgive being escorted out by security? Forgive having police interrogate me while I'm 3 months pregnant? It's complicated. No, I said. It's actually very simple. Your wife tried to destroy my life tonight because she doesn't like that I have a spine. Dom stood up. We're leaving. When Mom's surgery is over, call me with an update. But Kat and I are done being your emotional punching bags. We walked out. In the parking lot, I finally broke down. Dom held me while I sobbed against his chest. What if they'd found something? I whispered. What if she'd done something to those medications herself and blamed me? He went very still. What? Those searches on my computer. I never made them. Someone else did, using my laptop. Mom had access to our house last month when we were at work. She has our spare key. We stared at each other. She was setting you up, Dom said slowly. The whole time. But why would she risk her own health? She wouldn't have to. She could have just planted the searches, then claimed you were researching how to kill her. The medication thing tonight was probably just opportunity. When it happened, she seized it. I felt sick. Your mother tried to frame me for attempted murder. We need proof. How? The police already said the medications were fine. Dom pulled out his phone. But they didn't check our house. We drove home in silence. It was 3 a.m. when we pulled into our driveway. Dom's hands were white-knuckled on the steering wheel. We're going to check your laptop. Every file, every search, everything. Inside, I booted up my computer. Dom stood behind me as I pulled up my browser history. The searches were there, dated 3 weeks ago. November 15th, the day Lorraine had come over to drop off Thanksgiving decorations while we were both at work. She'd used my laptop for 47 minutes. Estate law, inheritance rights, life insurance beneficiaries, how to prove mental incompetence, poison that mimics heart conditions. Jesus Christ, Dom breathed. But there was more. She'd accessed my email, read messages between me and my doctor about the pregnancy, downloaded my bank statements, screenshotted texts between me and Dom. Then she'd gone into my documents folder. She'd created a new folder labeled Plans. Inside were Word documents that I'd never created. Dominic Life Insurance. Docs. Inheritance. Timeline.docs. After Lorraine. Dies.docs. I opened the first one with shaking hands. It was a detailed breakdown of Dom's life insurance policy, beneficiaries, payout amounts, what I would receive if he died before the baby was born versus after. Information I'd never looked up. Whoever wrote this knew details only someone with access to Dom's personal files would know. Details from documents he kept at his parents' house. She wrote these on your computer, Dom said. Made it look like you were planning something. The second document was worse. It outlined Lorraine's entire estate. Property values, stock portfolios, what Dom would inherit as the only child. What would happen if Dom died before Lorraine? Then there was a note at the bottom. If Dom dies while Lorraine is incapacitated, Kat inherits everything through the baby. Full control. This is insane, I whispered. She's creating a narrative where I want both of you dead. The third document was dated today, December 24th. It was a will. A fake will, supposedly written by Lorraine, leaving everything to me directly, cutting Dom out entirely. She's going to claim you forced her to write this, Dom said. While she was sick and vulnerable, that's why she needed the medication tampering angle, to show you had access and opportunity. I felt dizzy. How deep does this go? Dom sat down hard. I need to call my dad. Your dad covered for her tonight. He didn't know. He couldn't have. If he saw this, are you sure? Because he was pretty quick to ask me to forgive her. Dom looked at me, really looked at me. You think he's in on it? I think your family has a lot of money. I think your mother never wanted you to marry me. And I think this started way before tonight. I pulled up my email again, went back further. November 1st, the day after I'd announced my pregnancy. Someone had sent an anonymous email to my school district, claiming I was having an inappropriate relationship with a student, with screenshots of text messages that looked like they were from my phone. Fake messages, but realistic enough that the school had launched an investigation. I'd had to hire a lawyer, meet with the superintendent, prove the messages were fabricated. It had cost me $8,000 and nearly my job. The investigation had closed last week. Insufficient evidence. I'd thought it was a crazy parent. Someone angry about a grade. Look at this, I showed Dom. He read in silence. The timing. The day after I announced the pregnancy, she tried to get you fired. If I lost my job, no income, no health insurance. Maybe you'd leave me. Or maybe I'd leave you to spare you the burden. Dom's face was white. We need to go to the police. With what? Circumstantial evidence? Files on my own computer that I could have created? She'll say I planted everything to frame her. Then what do we do? I thought about Lorraine in that hospital bed. Tubes everywhere. About to have surgery. Vulnerable. And I thought about what she'd tried to do to me. We let her have the surgery, I said slowly. We act like nothing happened, like we believe it was all a misunderstanding because of her medication. Kat, she tried to destroy your life. I know, and we're going to let her think she failed because we're stupid, that we don't suspect anything. Why? Because scared animals are dangerous. but comfortable ones get lazy. Dom stared at me. What are you planning? I'm going to save your mother's life. I'm going to be the perfect daughter-in-law. Helpful, forgiving, supportive. And then I'm going to make sure she never comes near me, you, or our baby ever again, legally. The surgery was scheduled for December 28th. We showed up the morning of, carrying flowers and magazines. Lorraine looked surprised to see me. Catalina, I thought after last night, water under the bridge, I said sweetly. You're not yourself. The medication, the stress. I understand. She looked suspicious. You're not angry? I'm worried about you. Dom's worried. We just want you to get better. Her face did something complicated. Almost guilty. Almost relieved. The surgery took 6 hours. Dom's father paced. Dom sat rigid. I made phone calls to family members with updates, organized food for the waiting room, kept track of which doctors had spoken to us, modeled daughter-in-law behavior. When Lorraine came out of recovery, the surgeon was smiling. Everything went perfectly. We got the entire mass. She should make a full recovery. Dom's father cried. Dom hugged him. I stood back, appropriately emotional but not intrusive. Lorraine woke up the next morning. I was sitting beside her bed. You're here, she croaked. Where else would I be? Tears slid down her face. After what I did? You were scared, sick, not thinking clearly. I get it. I'm so sorry, Catalina. She wasn't. I could see it in her eyes. She was sorry she'd failed. But I smiled like I believed her. Over the next week, I became indispensable. I coordinated her care, managed her medications, communicated with doctors. Dom's father started calling me first with questions. Lorraine watched me with calculating eyes. On January 3rd, she came home. Dom's father had converted the downstairs den into a bedroom for her recovery. We'd hired a daytime nurse, but I came by every evening to help. You're so good to us, Dom's father said one night. I was wrong about you, Catalina. You're exactly what this family needs. Lorraine smiled tightly from her chair. That night, I installed a small camera in their living room, just a nanny cam, I told Dom's father. So Lorraine could call us if she needed help overnight, and we could see if she'd fallen. He thought it was thoughtful. The camera also covered the home office where Lorraine's computer was. I watched her, every night, from my own computer. On January 8th, she moved, slowly, carefully, into the office. She sat at her computer for 2 hours. The angle wasn't good enough to see the screen, but I could see her hands typing, her face determined. The next morning, I got a call from my OB's office. Mrs. Castellano, we've received a complaint. Someone claiming to be a family member says you're using drugs while pregnant. We need you to come in for testing. My heart stopped. I'm not using anything. It's protocol. We have to investigate. The test came back clean, obviously, but it went in my medical file. A red flag. 2 days later, Child Protective Services called. We've received a report about potential prenatal substance abuse. From who? We can't disclose that. We need to schedule a home visit. The caseworker was kind but thorough. She inspected our home, interviewed us separately, reviewed our finances and medical records. Everything looks fine, she said finally, but we have to follow up on every report. If we receive another one, it triggers a more intensive investigation. After she left, I sat on the floor and cried. Dom held me. She's not stopping. No, she's escalating. What's the next step? We make her feel safe. Then we document everything. Build a case so airtight that a judge has no choice but to give us a restraining order. That could take months. Then we have months of hell ahead of us. I was wrong. It took 3 months. 3 months of reports to CPS. 3 months of anonymous calls to my school claiming I was mentally unstable. 3 months of fabricated evidence showing up in weird places. But we documented everything. Every call, every visit, every complaint. Our lawyer built a timeline, and I kept watching that camera. On March 15th, I caught it. Lorraine was back to full health now, moving normally. No more weakness or medication fog. She sat at her computer, and this time I'd repositioned the camera. I could see the screen. She was creating a Facebook profile. Fake name, fake photos. She was joining parenting groups, local community forums. Then she started posting about her terrible daughter-in-law who was pregnant and using drugs, who had tried to poison her during her hospital stay, who was mentally unstable and violent. She posted in groups for our neighborhood, for Dom's colleagues, for my school district, with details that could only have come from someone who knew us. I recorded everything. On March 20th, I filed for a restraining order. Miriam submitted 400 pages of documentation, every fake report, every anonymous call, every social media post traced back to Lorraine's IP address, the laptop searches she'd made on my computer, the fake documents she'd created, the medication room accusation, and the video of her creating those Facebook posts, clearly healthy and clear-headed, deliberately trying to destroy my reputation. The judge was a woman in her 60s who'd clearly seen it all. She read through everything in silence while Lorraine and her lawyer sat confidently. Then she looked up. Mrs. Castellano, do you deny making these social media posts? Lorraine's lawyer jumped in. Your Honor, my client was recovering from major surgery. She wasn't in her right mind. These posts are dated last week. Her surgeon's report shows full recovery as of February 28th. Silence. Mrs. Castellano, you've conducted a systematic campaign of harassment against your daughter-in-law. You've filed false reports with Child Protective Services, contacted her employer with baseless accusations, created fraudulent documents to frame her for crimes, and spread defamatory statements across social media. Lorraine's face was red. She's trying to steal my son, turn him against his family. She's after our money. Your son is a grown man capable of choosing his own wife, and there's no evidence Mrs. Catalina Castellano has done anything except help care for you after your surgery. The judge looked at me. You're 6 months pregnant? Yes, Your Honor. And you've maintained your job, your marriage, and your composure while being systematically harassed for 5 months? I didn't have much choice. She almost smiled. No, I suppose you didn't. Then she turned back to Lorraine. I'm granting the restraining order. You're to have no contact with Catalina Castellano. No physical contact, no phone calls, no emails, no social media posts. You may not go within 500 feet of her home or workplace. What about Dominic? Lorraine's voice cracked. He's my son. That's between you and your son. But if you want to see him, it can't be anywhere near his wife. Lorraine started crying. Real tears this time. This is what she wanted, to separate me from my child. No, the judge said quietly. This is what you did. You separated yourself. The order was effective immediately. We walked out of the courthouse into spring sunshine. Dom was shaking. I can't believe that just happened. Believe it. Your mom is abusive, has been your whole life. You just couldn't see it because you were used to it. He was quiet for a long time. Will you hate me if I still love her? No, she's your mother, but I won't let her near our daughter. I know. We got in the car. Dom drove us home, our real home, just the two of us. His father called that night. Dominic, your mother is devastated. This is tearing the family apart. The family was torn apart the day she tried to frame Kat for attempted murder. She was sick. She was healthy when she filed false reports with CPS. When she posted lies about Kat on Facebook. When she called her school claiming Kat was having sex with students. Silence. Your father knew about that last one, I called out. His email is on the complaint filed with the school district. More silence. Dad, did you help her? I didn't. She was so upset. She said you were making a mistake, that this girl was dangerous. I thought I was protecting you by helping her destroy an innocent woman, my wife, the mother of your grandchild. We didn't think it would go this far. No, you just thought Kat would break, that she'd leave me to escape the harassment, that you could get rid of her without any consequences. Dominic, don't call me again unless you're ready to apologize to Kat. A real apology, not an excuse. He hung up. His father never called back. Our daughter Isabel was born June 14th, 7 pounds, 3 ounces. Perfect. Lorraine tried to visit the hospital. Security escorted her out. The restraining order was very clear. She tried to send gifts. We returned them. She created new social media accounts to get around the restraining order. Miriam got it extended and added those violations to Lorraine's record. Dom went to therapy. Worked through 30 years of manipulation and control he'd thought was love. She used to tell me I was her special boy, he said one session. That I'd never leave her because we understood each other. That's called emotional incest, the therapist said gently. Dom cried in my arms that night, but he got better. Stronger. Started setting boundaries with other family members who tried to guilt him into reconciling. His father showed up at our house when Isabel was 2 months old. I want to meet my granddaughter. And I want an apology to my wife, Dom said. His father looked at me. I'm sorry. I was wrong. I should have protected you instead of helping Lorraine hurt you. Why didn't you? I asked. Because I've been protecting her my whole marriage, making excuses for her behavior, cleaning up her messes. I thought that's what you do for family. No, I said. What you do for family is hold them accountable, help them be better, love them enough to say no. He nodded slowly. Can I meet Isabel? Dom looked at me. I nodded. His father held our daughter with shaking hands. Tears rolled down his face. She's beautiful. She has Lorraine's eyes. Yeah, Dom said. Hopefully not her personality. His father laughed. It sounded painful. No, God, please no. You can visit, I said. Once a week. Here. In our home. Under supervision. If you talk to Lorraine about us or Isabel, that privilege ends. I understand. And if you ever help her harass us again, you'll never see Isabel again. Ever. I won't. I swear. He kept that promise. Came every Saturday morning, brought bagels and coffee, played with Isabel, never mentioned Lorraine, but sometimes I'd catch him staring at Isabel with this heartbroken expression. You miss her? I said once. My granddaughter? Your wife. He was quiet. I miss who I thought she was, but that person never existed. Just the version she performed when she got what she wanted. Have you thought about divorce? Every day. But we've been married 38 years. I don't know who I am without her. You're Isabel's grandfather. You're Dominic's father. You're a man who can choose to break a pattern. He looked at me. Like you did. I didn't have a choice. She was trying to destroy my life, but you could have given up, left Dominic, protected yourself. Instead, you fought. I fought because I loved Dom. Because I knew Isabel deserved better than a grandmother who weaponizes family. You're stronger than me. No, I just had less to lose. Isabel turned 1. We had a party in our backyard. Just close friends, my family, and Dom's father. Lorraine sent a card. Inside was a check for $10,000 and a note. For my granddaughter. I'm sorry for everything. Please let me see her. I've changed. Dom tore up the check. She hasn't changed. She just wants access. I know. But part of me wonders if we're being cruel. Keeping Isabel from her. I took his face in my hands. Your mother tried to have me arrested while I was pregnant, filed false reports claiming I was on drugs, told people I was a pedophile. She didn't stop because she felt guilty. She stopped because a judge forced her to. I know. If we let her in, even once, she'll use it. Take photos, create a narrative, claim we're letting her back into Isabel's life. Then when we cut her off again, she'll use those photos to claim parental alienation. How do you know that? Because that's what she did before. Every act of kindness we showed her, she weaponized. Your mother doesn't want a relationship with Isabel. She wants control over us. Dom crumpled the card. You're right. I'm sorry, I'm right. Me too. Isabel started talking. Her first word was Dada. Her second was Mama. Her third was Papa, for Dom's father. He sobbed when he heard it. She knows I'm her grandfather. Of course she does. You're here every week. Lorraine will never know this. She'll never hear Isabel call her anything. That's the consequence of her choices. It's so unfair to her. She made it unfair. To herself. When Isabel was 18 months old, Lorraine violated the restraining order. She showed up at my school. Told the security guard she was my mother-in-law, here to drop off lunch. The guard, new and not familiar with our situation, let her in. She walked into my classroom during lunch. I was alone, grading papers. Catalina? I looked up, felt my blood go cold. You need to leave. Now. Before I call security. Please, just 5 minutes, I need to explain. You're violating a court order. I know, I don't care. I need you to understand that I'm sorry. Really sorry. Not the sorry I said before. This is real. She looked terrible. Thinner. Gray. Older than her 62 years. What do you want, Lorraine? I want to meet my granddaughter. No, please, I'm begging you. I know I was horrible. I know I can never take back what I did. But I've been in therapy, working on myself. I have letters from my therapist. I don't care. She's my family. No, she's my daughter. And I will do everything in my power to keep her safe from people who tried to destroy her mother. I was sick, jealous, scared of losing Dominic. You were systematic, calculating. You created fake documents, filed false reports, tried to get me fired and arrested. You did that while healthy and clear-headed. Her face crumpled. I know. God, I know. And I hate myself for it. Good. Is there anything I can do? Anything at all to earn your forgiveness? I thought about it. Really thought about it. No, I said finally, because forgiveness isn't the same as trust. I might forgive you someday, but I will never, ever trust you near my daughter. That's not fair. Life isn't fair. You taught me that. She stood there, tears streaming. I lost everything. My son barely speaks to me. My husband moved into the guest house. I spend holidays alone, all because I was threatened by a woman I barely knew. You weren't threatened by me. You were threatened by the idea of Dominic loving someone he chose instead of someone you approved. Maybe. And instead of dealing with that like an adult, you tried to ruin my life. Yes, so here we are. She wiped her eyes. I really am sorry, for whatever that's worth. It's worth nothing without change, real change. I am changing. Then change for yourself, not to earn access to Isabel because that ship has sailed. I picked up my phone. I'm calling security now. You have 10 seconds to leave before I also call the police. She left. The police came anyway. I pressed charges for violating the restraining order. Lorraine got a $5,000 fine and probation. Dom was furious. She can't just show up at your workplace. She's desperate. I don't care. She's dangerous. I know. What if she tried to hurt you? She didn't. She just wanted to plead her case. And? Did it work? No. He relaxed slightly. Good. But I thought about that conversation a lot. About Lorraine's face. The genuine pain there. Do you think she really has changed? I asked Dom one night. Does it matter? Maybe. Kat, she tried to destroy you. Even if she's different now, we don't owe her anything. I know. But Isabel might want to know her grandmother someday. Then Isabel can make that choice when she's 18. But not before. Not while we're responsible for protecting her. You're right. Are you having second thoughts? No. Just wondering if we're the villains in Lorraine's version of this story. We're not. But even if we were, I'd rather be the villain who protects my family than the hero who lets them get hurt. I kissed him. That's very dramatic. I learned from the best. Life continued. Isabel grew, started preschool, made friends, had birthday parties. Lorraine sent cards every year. We threw them away unopened. Dom's father became a permanent fixture in our lives. Isabel loved him, called him Papa, showed him her artwork, and made him watch Frozen 14 million times. You're a good grandfather, I told him once. I wish I'd been a better father. You can't change the past. No, but I can be better now. When Isabel was 4, Dom's father was diagnosed with lung cancer, advanced stage. 6 months, the doctor said. Maybe a year. Dom fell apart. His dad was the one family member who'd chosen us, who'd worked to make amends. I don't want him to die alone, Dom said. He won't. We'll be there. Mom's going to show up at the funeral. Then we'll deal with it. Dom's father deteriorated quickly. By November, he was in hospice. We visited every day. Isabel would crawl into bed with him, show him her schoolwork, tell him stories. You're going to be okay, mija, he'd say. You have good parents. They'll keep you safe. I know, Papa. And when you're older, if anyone tells you stories about your grandma Lorraine, you remember something. People are complicated. She did bad things, but she wasn't all bad. She was just broken in ways she couldn't fix. Isabel, too young to understand, just nodded. He died December 18th, peacefully, with Dom holding one hand and me holding the other. The funeral was December 23rd. Lorraine showed up. She looked like a ghost. Hollow. Barely there. She sat in the back, didn't approach us, didn't violate the restraining order. After the service, as people were leaving, she stood near the exit, watching Isabel play with my niece. Our eyes met. She mouthed, "She's beautiful." I nodded. She left. Dom saw the exchange. You okay? Yeah, just sad. About Dad? About everything. About how this all went so wrong. About how Isabel will grow up without knowing half her family. That's Lorraine's fault. I know, but it's still sad. We drove home in silence. Put Isabel to bed. Sat in the living room, surrounded by sympathy cards and casserole dishes from neighbors. Dad left me a letter, Dom said quietly. Do you want to read it? He handed it to me. His hands were shaking. The letter was short, written in Dom's father's shaky handwriting from his final days. Dominic, I'm proud of the man you've become. The husband, the father. You broke a cycle I couldn't break. Your mother and I raised you in toxicity and called it love. But you learned better. You chose better. I'm sorry I didn't protect Catalina when I should have. I'm sorry I enabled your mother for so many years. I'm sorry I taught you through my silence that peace was more important than justice. But I'm grateful you learned different, that you stood up for your wife, that you're raising Isabel in a home without manipulation or control. Your mother asked me to give you a message, to tell you she's sorry, to beg for another chance. I told her no, not because I don't believe people can change, but because some damage is irreparable. What she did to Catalina crossed lines that can't be uncrossed. But I want you to know something. Your mother does love you. In her broken, twisted way, she loves you. She just doesn't know how to love without controlling. And that's a tragedy for her. You don't owe her forgiveness. You don't owe her access to Isabel. You only owe yourself and your family peace. Be happy, son. That's the best revenge. Love, Dad. I was crying by the end. Dom was too. He was right, I said. About all of it. I know. Do you regret cutting off your mom? No, but I regret that it had to happen. I regret that she couldn't just be happy for me. Accept you. Love Isabel without conditions. Me too. We sat there, holding each other, mourning the family that could have been. Christmas came, our first major holiday without Dom's father. It felt empty despite our best efforts. Isabel noticed. Where's Papa? Papa's in heaven, remember? When's he coming back? Dom's face crumpled. He's not, baby. But he'll always be in our hearts. That's stupid. I want him here. I know. Me too. On Christmas morning, there was a package on our doorstep. No return address. No note. Inside was a hand-knitted blanket. Baby blue, with white stars. Incredibly intricate. Beautiful. And a card. For Isabel. Merry Christmas. L. Dom wanted to throw it away. I stopped him. It's just a blanket. It's a manipulation tactic. Maybe. Or maybe it's a grandmother who's trying the only way she knows how. We can't keep accepting gifts. It gives her hope. Would that be so terrible? A little hope? Kat, after everything she did. I know what she did. I lived it. But your dad was right. People are complicated. She's broken. That doesn't excuse what she did, but it explains it. So what, we just forgive her? No. But maybe we stop actively punishing her. We keep the boundaries. Keep the restraining order. But we don't have to be cruel. Dom looked at the blanket. Isabel will love this. I know. We kept it. Isabel slept with it every night. Called it her star blanket. When she asked where it came from, we said a family friend. Not ready to explain Grandma Lorraine yet. Years passed. Isabel grew, started elementary school, lost her first tooth, learned to ride a bike. Lorraine sent gifts on every birthday and Christmas. We kept some, donated others, never acknowledged them. But one year, when Isabel turned 7, the gift was different. A photo album, pictures of Dom as a child, baby photos, first day of school, birthday parties, Halloween costumes, photos I'd never seen before. At the back was a note. Every child deserves to know where they came from, even if their grandmother made terrible mistakes. These are Dominic's. Now they're Isabel's. Lorraine. Dom cried when he saw them. I forgot about most of these. She's giving you your history. Why? Because that's what grandmothers do. They keep the stories. She's not Isabel's grandmother. Not really. She is, though. Biologically. Legally. She just can't act like one because of her choices. Do we tell Isabel? Eventually. When she's old enough to understand. When she asks why she only has one grandmother. That conversation came when Isabel was 9. We were driving home from my mother's house. Isabel was quiet in the backseat. Mom, why don't I have a grandma on Dad's side? Dom and I exchanged glances. You do, I said carefully. She just doesn't visit. Why not? It's complicated, sweetheart. Did she die like Papa? No, she's alive. She just made some choices that hurt our family, so we decided it was safer for everyone if she stayed away. What kind of choices? Dom spoke up. She wasn't very nice to your mom before you were born. She did some things that were mean and unfair. And even though we gave her chances to apologize and change, she kept doing hurtful things. Like what? I took a breath. She tried to get me in trouble at work. She told lies about me. She tried to make your dad think I was a bad person. Isabel was quiet for a long moment. That's really mean. Yeah, it was. Is that why we never see her? Yes. A judge decided she needed to stay away from us, to keep everyone safe. Does she want to see me? My heart broke. Yes, honey, she does. But I can't see her? Not right now. Maybe when you're older, if you want to, you can decide for yourself. But while you're young, we have to make sure you're safe. Am I safe from her? You are, because we have rules to protect you. Okay. She went back to looking out the window, but I could see her processing, thinking. That night she came into our room. Mom, can I ask you something? Of course. If Grandma Lorraine wanted to say sorry, would you let her? Careful territory. Has she contacted you? No, I just wondered. If she really changed, really understood why what she did was wrong, and proved it over a long time, then maybe. But saying sorry isn't enough. People have to show they've changed. How would she show it? By respecting our boundaries, by not trying to force her way back into our lives, by understanding that she hurt people, and those people need time to heal. Has she done that? Sort of. She sends gifts, which shows she thinks about you. But she also violated a court order once, which shows she still thinks rules don't apply to her. So it's complicated. Very. Isabel nodded seriously. I'm glad you protect me. Always, baby. She hugged me and went back to bed. But the questions didn't stop. Over the next year, Isabel became more curious. Asked about Lorraine's favorite color, her job, what she was like. She's a retired art teacher, Dom said. She loves classical music. She speaks 3 languages. She's very smart. She sounds cool. She is cool. She's just not safe for our family. Maybe she's safe now. Dom and I looked at each other. Maybe, I said. But we can't know that until you're old enough to protect yourself. When Isabel turned 10, she came to us with a request. I want to write Grandma Lorraine a letter. My stomach dropped. Why? Because everyone at school talks about their grandmas, and I want to know mine, even if I can't see her. Isabel, I know she did bad things, but Papa's gone, and Grandma Rosie is all I have. I want to know what the other one is like, even just through letters. Dom looked at me. What do you think? I think it's Isabel's choice, but we supervise. We read every letter, in and out. And if Lorraine uses this to manipulate or hurt Isabel, we stop immediately. Agreed. Isabel wrote her first letter that week. Dear Grandma Lorraine, my name is Isabel. I'm your granddaughter. I'm 10 years old. My favorite color is purple. I like to read and draw. I'm learning piano. Mom and Dad told me you did some things that hurt them before I was born. I don't really understand it all, but I know you can't visit. But I wanted to write to you anyway. Because you're my grandma. Do you like purple too? What do you like to do? Love, Isabel. We mailed it to Lorraine's address, prepared for the worst. The response came 3 days later. Dear Isabel, thank you for your letter. It was the most wonderful surprise I've ever received. Yes, I'm your grandmother, and I've wanted to know you since the day you were born. My favorite color is blue, like the ocean. I used to teach art, so I love all colors, but blue is special. I like to paint, garden, and read mystery novels. I play piano too. Maybe someday you can play for me. You're right that I hurt your parents, especially your mother. I did terrible things because I was scared and selfish. I've spent the last 10 years trying to become someone better, someone who deserves to know someone as wonderful as you. Thank you for writing to me. It means more than you could know. With all my love, Grandma Lorraine. The letter was cautious, appropriate. Didn't badmouth us or try to manipulate Isabel. Can I write her back? Isabel asked. Yes, but we still read everything first. The letters continued. Once a month, Isabel told Lorraine about school, friends, hobbies. Lorraine shared stories about Dom as a child, taught Isabel about art through descriptions, sent book recommendations. She never asked to meet, never pushed boundaries, just existed on the periphery of Isabel's life. She seems different, Dom said after 6 months of letters. Maybe she is. Do you trust her? No, but I trust Isabel. And if this is what Isabel needs, we can manage it. When Isabel turned 12, she asked the question we'd been dreading. Can I meet her? In person? Why? Dom asked. Because she's my grandma, and she's been writing to me for 2 years, and she seems nice. Seeming nice isn't the same as being safe. I know, but I'm not a baby. I can handle it. Dom and I talked for hours that night. She's old enough to start making some decisions, I said. But is she old enough to recognize manipulation? We'll be there, supervising. Lorraine won't get a chance to manipulate her. What if this is a mistake? Then we'll deal with it. But Dom, we can't protect Isabel from Lorraine forever. Eventually, she'll be an adult. She'll be able to contact Lorraine herself. Wouldn't it be better to facilitate that contact now, while we still have control? I hate that you're right. Me too. We set conditions. The meeting would be in a public place, for 1 hour. We'd be present the entire time. If Lorraine said or did anything inappropriate, we'd leave immediately. We contacted Lorraine through her lawyer. We still communicated only through legal channels. She agreed to everything, didn't push back, didn't try to negotiate. The meeting was scheduled for May 15th, a Saturday, at a park with a cafe. We arrived early. Isabel was nervous. What if she doesn't like me? She'll love you, Dom said. That's what I'm worried about. Lorraine arrived exactly on time. She looked so different. Older, obviously, but also softer, less sharp-edged. She wore jeans and a simple sweater, no jewelry except a watch. She saw Isabel and stopped walking, just stared. Isabel stared back. Then Isabel walked over. Hi, Grandma. Lorraine's face crumpled. Hi, sweetheart. You're even more beautiful than your pictures. They sat at a table. We sat at the next table over, close enough to hear everything. The conversation was awkward at first, polite. Then Isabel showed Lorraine her sketchbook. Lorraine's face lit up. You have real talent. Look at this shading. Did someone teach you? I taught myself, from YouTube. When I was your age, I was painting portraits. Would you like me to send you some technique books? Really? That would be amazing. They talked about art for the rest of the hour. Lorraine didn't ask personal questions, didn't pry, didn't badmouth us or try to create secrets. When time was up, Isabel hugged her. Can we do this again? Lorraine looked at us. If your parents say yes, we'll think about it, I said. On the drive home, Isabel was glowing. She's really cool, and she knows so much about art. She is cool, Dom admitted. I'd forgotten that part. Can we see her again? Maybe. We'll see how it goes. We scheduled another meeting a month later, then another. By the end of summer, we were meeting once a month regularly. Lorraine never overstepped, never asked for more, never tried to poison Isabel against us. She really has changed, Dom said after one meeting. Or she's playing a very long game. You don't believe that. I don't know what I believe, but slowly, grudgingly, I started to trust. Not fully, not enough to leave Isabel alone with Lorraine, but enough to acknowledge that people could grow. When Isabel turned 13, Lorraine asked if she could attend Isabel's birthday party. I know it's a lot to ask, but I'd love to celebrate with her. I don't have to stay long, just to give her my gift and sing happy birthday. Dom looked at me. It's your call, I said. She's your mother. What do you think? I think 13 years is a long time to hold a grudge, and I think Lorraine has proven she's trying, but I also think we need to be careful. So yes? Conditional yes. She comes for cake, 30 minutes, then she leaves. Lorraine showed up with a huge wrapped box and tears in her eyes. She hugged Isabel, met Isabel's friends, sang happy birthday. Then she pulled me aside. Thank you for letting me be part of this. Don't thank me. Thank Isabel. She's the one who wanted you here. I know I can never make up for what I did, but I'm trying. Every day I'm trying. I can see that. Can I ask you something? Do you think you'll ever forgive me? I thought about it. Really thought about it. I think I already have, I said slowly. But forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or trusting completely. It just means I'm not actively angry anymore. That's more than I deserve. Maybe, but it's what you're getting. She smiled, sad but genuine. I'll take it. After the party, Dom found me in the kitchen. That was okay, right? Having her here? Yeah, it was okay. I keep waiting for the other shoe to drop, for her to do something horrible. Maybe there is no other shoe. Maybe she's just a woman who destroyed her relationships and spent 13 years learning how to be better. Do you really believe that? I want to. Life continued. Isabel started high school. Lorraine came to her art shows, sent birthday cards, called once a month to chat. The restraining order expired. We didn't renew it. Didn't need to. When Isabel was 16, she came to us with a request. Can Grandma Lorraine come over for dinner? Like, to our house? Dom and I exchanged glances. Our home, the place Lorraine had never been allowed. Why? I asked. Because it's weird that we only see her in public. And I want her to see where I live. See my room, my artwork on the walls. Isabel, our house is our safe space. Letting her in. I know, but she's been good for 6 years. When does she stop being punished? It's not about punishment. Isn't it, though? You've forgiven her. She's proved she's changed, but you still treat her like she's dangerous. Dom spoke up. Because she was dangerous, Isabel. You didn't see what she did to your mom. But that was 13 years ago. People change. You've always taught me that. She was right. Of course she was right. Let us talk about it, I said. That night, Dom and I sat on our porch. I don't want her in our house, he said. This is our space, the one place she's never contaminated. I know, but Isabel's right. We can't keep her in purgatory forever. So what do? We let her in. One dinner. If it goes well, maybe more. If it doesn't, we go back to public meetings. Are you sure? No, but I'm sure that our daughter is almost an adult, and we've raised her to be kind, forgiving, and strong. We have to trust that. Okay. The dinner was scheduled for October 1st, a Saturday. I cooked lasagna. Dom set the table. Isabel cleaned her room like Lorraine was the Queen of England. Lorraine arrived with flowers and wine. She stood at our door looking terrified. Come in, I said. She stepped inside, looked around. Your home is beautiful. Thank you. Isabel, can I see your room? Isabel lit up and dragged her upstairs. Dom and I stayed in the kitchen listening to their voices. Laughter, excitement. This is surreal, Dom said. Yeah, my mother is in our house. I know. And she's being normal. People can surprise you. Dinner was good. Normal. We talked about Isabel's college plans, Lorraine's garden, Dom's job, like a regular family. When Lorraine left, she hugged us all. Thank you for giving me this chance. I know I don't deserve it. You're welcome, I said, and meant it. After she left, Dom pulled me close. We did it. Did what? Broke the cycle. We protected our daughter, held our boundaries, and still left room for grace. You think so? I know so. My mother destroyed people because she couldn't handle not being in control. But we taught Isabel that boundaries and love can coexist. That forgiveness doesn't mean being a doormat. That family is complicated but worth fighting for. That's very philosophical. I've had a lot of therapy. I laughed. Me too. We stood there in our home, surrounded by the life we'd built. Despite Lorraine, because of Lorraine, and I realized something. She hadn't won, but we hadn't lost either. We'd just survived and built something beautiful anyway. Isabel graduated high school. Lorraine came to the ceremony, sat with my family, cheered when Isabel's name was called. At the party after, I found Lorraine looking at photos on our wall. Pictures of Isabel's life, first day of school, lost teeth, piano recitals. You missed all of this, I said. I know. Do you regret it? Every single day. Good. She looked at me. You don't pull your punches, do you? Not anymore. I learned from the best. She smiled sadly. I was so threatened by you, your strength, your certainty. I thought if Dominic loved you, he'd stop loving me. Love doesn't work like that. I know that now. Took me 13 years and a lot of therapy, but I finally get it. Was it worth it? All those years of missing out? No, but I can't change the past. I can only show up for the future. That's all any of us can do. Isabel left for college in August. She chose an art school 3 states away. Lorraine helped her move in, carried boxes, made her bed, cried when we left her in that dorm room. She's going to do amazing things, Lorraine said on the drive home. Yeah, she is. You raised her well. We raised her well. All of us. Even you, in the strange way this all worked out. I'm part of we now. You're Isabel's grandmother. You've earned your place. Barely, but you've earned it. She was quiet for a long moment. Thank you, Catalina, for not giving up on the possibility of redemption. Thank Dom and Isabel. They're the ones who pushed for this. But you're the one who had every right to say no, and you didn't. No, I guess I didn't. We drove in silence for a while. Then Lorraine spoke again. Can I ask you something? Do you think about what I did? About that time in the hospital? Sometimes. Do you hate me for it? No, I hated you for years. But hate is exhausting. Forgiveness is easier. I don't know if I could have forgiven if someone did that to me. You would have, because the alternative is letting it destroy you, and I had too much to fight for. She nodded. I'm sorry. I know I've said it before, but I need to say it again. I'm so deeply sorry for everything I did, for the pain I caused, for almost destroying your marriage and your life. I know. I hope someday I can be someone you trust completely. Maybe. But trust is earned over years, not moments. Keep showing up. Keep being the person you're trying to become. That's all anyone can do. I will. I promise. And she did. For the next 4 years, through Isabel's college journey, through a global pandemic, through personal struggles and triumphs, Lorraine showed up. She respected boundaries, asked permission, never pushed, just existed as a steady, supportive presence. When Isabel graduated college with honors, Lorraine was there. When Isabel got her first gallery showing, Lorraine bought 3 paintings. When Isabel met her future wife, Emma, Lorraine welcomed her without judgment. Your grandmother is amazing, Emma said at their engagement party. So supportive and kind. Isabel laughed. She wasn't always. People change. Yeah, they really do. The wedding was beautiful. Small ceremony, intimate reception. Isabel wore our grandmother's dress. Emma wore her mother's. And when it came time for the family dance, Isabel danced with Dom, then with me, then with Lorraine. I watched from the sidelines crying. Dom put his arm around me. You okay? Yeah, just thinking about everything it took to get here. Was it worth it? Every horrible, painful, terrifying moment. Even the police interrogation? Even that, he kissed my temple. I'm proud of us. Me too. Lorraine came over after the dance. Her makeup was smudged from crying, she said, for giving me the chance to be here for this. You earned it. I spent 13 years earning it. I'd do 13 more if needed. I know you would. Can I tell you something? Something I've never said before? Sure. When Dominic first brought you home, I was jealous. Not because you weren't good enough, but because you were perfect. Strong, smart, confident. Everything I'd tried to be but failed at. I saw you and knew I'd lost control of my son. And instead of celebrating his happiness, I tried to destroy yours. Why are you telling me this now? Because Isabel deserves to know her grandmother isn't perfect, that I'm a work in progress, and because you deserve to hear the truth I couldn't admit 13 years ago. The truth being that I was wrong about everything. You weren't trying to steal my son. You were trying to love him, and I should have been grateful. I felt tears starting. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for letting me be here to say it. We stood there, two women who'd been enemies, then strangers, now something close to friends. You know what's funny? I said. What? I hated you for so long, spent so much energy being angry, and now I look at you and just see Isabel's grandmother, someone who messed up but tried to fix it. Is that enough? To be Isabel's grandmother? It's more than enough. She smiled. I don't deserve your grace. Nobody deserves grace. That's what makes it grace. Later that night, after the guests had left and the venue was being cleaned up, I found Dom sitting alone in the garden. You okay? I asked, sitting beside him. Yeah, just thinking about my dad, wishing he could have been here. He would have loved this. He would have loved seeing Mom be part of it, seeing her actually be a grandmother. She's trying, really trying. I know. Sometimes I forget how hard it was. The investigation, the CPS calls, the false reports. It feels like another life. It was another life. We're different people now. Better people. I'd like to think so. We sat in comfortable silence. Then Dom spoke again. Do you ever wonder what would have happened if Mom had succeeded? If you'd been arrested or fired or driven away? Sometimes. But I think everything happened exactly how it needed to. The struggle made us stronger, made our marriage unbreakable, taught Isabel what real boundaries look like. So you're glad it happened? I'm not glad, but I'm grateful for what it taught us. That's very zen. I've had a lot of therapy too. He laughed, pulled me close. I love you, Catalina Castellano. I love you too. Thanks for not leaving me when my family was a nightmare. Thanks for choosing me even when it cost you everything. You're worth everything. So are you. We sat there until the stars came out, holding each other, grateful for survival, for growth, for grace. Because that's what family is, really. Not the people who never hurt you, but the people who hurt you, and everyone works to heal anyway. Or the people who protect you when others hurt you. Or the people you build from scratch when your blood family fails. Family is complicated, messy, sometimes broken beyond repair. But sometimes, if you're very lucky and very stubborn, broken things can be made beautiful again. Not the same as they were, but beautiful in their own scarred, imperfect way. And that's enough. That's more than enough. That's everything.